of thunderstorms and some clouds the rest of the day with a wind at 16 miles per hour coming out of the south and 81. Tonight, look for very light showers and a chance of thunderstorms with a temperature near 77. Tomorrow, a high around 82 and definite thunderstorms and very heavy rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true.
I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job. It's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control. Our family protecting your family.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore portable building dealer, Panama City.
You're a real estate agent, not a social media expert, but you absolutely need a professional social media strategy. Stay on top of mind, top of feed, and be in more places. Introducing SocialStackPro.com, a tool for real estate agents that inspires your content with the power of ChatGPT built right in. Try SocialStackPro.com for free. Focus on building your brand, building relationships, and post like a pro with SocialStackPro.com.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
Paid for by Steel Man Pills. 800-605-1682. 800-605-1682. 800-605-1682. That's 800-605-1682.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome to the house. It's time for the Afternoon Underdogs.
It's happening. Wow. It's on right now.
Opinionated and unfiltered. The hot takes, the rants, and the sports talk you crave.
Give it to me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's up, Northwest Florida? You're now in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs, tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on 104.3 right here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. If you're having a bad day, just go to social media, man. The EA Sports College Football trailer is coming out. You thought I was going to go there, but nope. Man. Not everybody can have a wild and chaotic day like old Scotty Scheffler up there in Valhalla, Kentucky for the PGA Championship. That's a Absolutely wild situation. Of course, we're going to dive into that here in this first segment, but we got a great show lined up for you guys today. We're going to do things a little bit differently because we've got Dave Ford. Coach Dave Ford's going to join us again today to get the youth prepped up for the off season, if you'd like to call it that. The summer season is upon us, so he's a big proponent of mental health awareness. So we'll be talking about things that the youngins can do to stay active because laziness will end up killing your dreams and goals. So Coach Dave Ford joins us today at 4:40. So with that, we're going to move trivia up to 4:20. We're going to do trivia on this day, and I've got a very unique trivia question, and it has to do with what's going on up there in the PGA Championship. There's actually been a few other golfers who have been arrested during or like 2 days before their tournament. And yeah, so I got 5 names, and that's 5 opportunities to win today.
Not the first time a world's number one has gotten arrested either.
No.
In the last handful of years even.
And they seem to, bounce back quite well from that. Scotty Scheffler shot 5 under today. He's like tied for third, I believe, at 9 under. You got Colin Morikawa, who's actually leading the tournament at 11 under. And then Xander, not as strong, nowhere near as strong as what he was yesterday, just 1 under, and he is sitting at 10 under at this point in time. Johnny Yankee Seed says, I know you can listen on 104.3, but what's the other channel? Figure it out, brother. You're just going to have to figure it. No, it's 101.9, but that's over there in Port St. Joe. 101.9 in Port St. Joe, 104.3 right here in Panama City, home of your Atlanta Braves. We have some big news. We got the date set for our 7-year send-off, which is going to be, I believe, September 7th, right? Yeah, and they're going to be taking on the Blue Jays for that game. Great seats, and we're going to be sending people to Atlanta for the rest of this season, and I am so excited. I know Bone Crusher's excited. In fact, anyone affiliated with ESPN Northwest Florida is excited to be sending you guys with tickets to Truist. And you guys can call or text us at 850-215-6290. What'd you have?
If they get that win, what's that going to cost? About $2.25 million? The Braves.
If they do end up getting that win, well, I think that's where we're at right now, right? I think
that's what James was saying.
The final was 2.25.
Yeah.
It was about $2.25 million, as you just mentioned there. Yeah, so we broke it down yesterday what each team, provided that they stay on pace and win 104 games. For the Braves is 104. For the Phillies is what did we say, 124?
Yeah, and that's because we're projected to do 124 wins.
Exactly.
So our number's going to be a lot lower. You add 20 more wins, it's going to drop the percentage down.
I mean, we talked with Sam Peebles yesterday, and he had brought up, the difference in the opponents. You brought up a fair point too that I didn't see till after we had him off, or after he got off. But we're the reason. The Phillies are the reason that they have those bad records. Yeah. Paul Skeens got underway with his second start of the season today as well. How many batters do you think he struck out in a row?
I will guess, since I have no clue right now.
No clue?
5.
A little low, actually.
Yeah.
He finished up. Actually, I can't say where he finished up at. I know that he got to 5 innings and he had 10 strikeouts through 5 innings. His first 7 batters faced strikeouts.
Nice.
And we asked the question yesterday, I believe it was to Max, or not to Max, to Sam, of who has the advantage in a situation like that. So last week, Paul Skeens got his initial debut, or his major league pitching debut. That was last Saturday against the Cubs. Today, Friday, 1:20, they got underway, and it was against the Cubs. So I wonder who had advantage. And typically you kind of see
he's got it.
You say he's got it because there's not as much tape on him yet?
Yeah, there's no tape. Nobody's hit against him yet in the major leagues, but he can watch tape and he can look at what the batters he's going to face do, their trends and what have you. So I think, the first go around, playing everybody, he's going to have the advantage, or at least until there's enough tape on the guy that you can kind of get a feel for, any tells or anything that he might do to kind of, lend it to, giving something away.
We'll talk more about old Paul Skeens and look at his final numbers when we get to 5 o'clock today. So Coach Ford joins us at 4:45 o'clock. We'll talk some Major League Baseball. Then we're in the thick of things in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So Andrew Weiss is going to join us again on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Thought we were supposed to have a lot of weather. I don't know. What's Joanna talking about? We're going to have to find that out throughout the show. But I would be prepared for some rain this evening. All right, let's see. And then there's something that I've had on the show sheet all week long. So there was a bettor who
the cash
finally
out.
cashed in on the parlay. He had the Chiefs. He had, I believe, the Rangers World Series from last year.
Right.
And then he had the Thunder to win the NBA championship. And after they lost the first game, the buyback or the buyout went to like $30,000. And he said, if it climbs back up to $80K, I'm cashing out. So we're going to find out, is he cashing out or... Well, I think I already told you guys. He did cash out, but how much did he cash out for? We'll find that out at 5:40. And basically the question, the whole topic of conversation is going to be like, what would you do if you were in that position? Do you let it ride or do you cash out? Because it was not a very expensive bet either. I don't think he put a lot of money on this, but he ended up winning a pretty nice chunk of change. Thoughts and prayers go out to Houston, man. I don't know if you saw, I didn't see last night, but they suffered a bunch of storms. They had 1 million without power. 4 people that they know of now are dead. So, man, tough situation over there. So thoughts and prayers with the city of Houston, Houston, Texas. And the Bozeman Bucks last night, man, 2 times in 3 years they've been to the 1A state championship, and they fall to J-High 6-3 in the 1A state final. They finished that season at 27-4, and that matches their most wins in program history. They reached the title game for just the second time. Hopefully they can get back there. I know that it's a tough way to go out for those guys, but you still can hang your hat on one of your best seasons that Bozeman's ever had. They did a great job, and I wonder how much there's no excuses or no reasoning behind this, but the game was supposed to be played at 3:00. And remember how we were talking about this yesterday? Well, you weren't with us yesterday, but we I was like, why haven't they started the game? I continued to check Max Preps, but they were rained out a little bit, and so they postponed the game, pushed the game back about 4 hours. I think they got underway around 7:45 or so Eastern time. So good, congratulations to the Bucks, and hopefully you guys bounce back next year. I mean, it's year in and year out for those Bozeman Bucks, and same for the Arnold Marlins. Something that you're gonna like, Caveman Rick. The federal government is increasing the for-hire catch limits for red and gray snapper for 2024. The total recreational red snapper quota is 7,991,900 pounds, and 58% of that can go to private fishermen. 42% is reserved for charter boats and for other for-hire vessels. That's according to a news release. The season for federally permitted for-hire reef fish vessels will open June 1st at 12:01 a.m. and ends at August 28th at 12:01 a.m. Central Time. That's a total of 88 days. Well, not Central Time, local time, wherever you are when it's 12:01. It starts on June 1st and it ends on August 28th, and this is only applied to federal waters. On April 30th, Governor Ron DeSantis announced a 103-day snapper season for Florida state waters. The state and federal seasons are the longest in recent years. You excited about that? You're going to be out there June 1st at 12:02 a.m. getting ready to do it?
I don't know about that. I don't have a boat, or maybe I would, but it's a good thing,
man.
I know a lot of people, usually gripe about, that it's a short season for snapper and they want to keep more and yada, yada, yada. But this is proof right here that shows by, keeping those numbers down and managing, the resources, that it can make it to where you have an abundance of, resources that you can, you can get. So I think it's great. Just keep doing what they're doing. And here in another handful of years, maybe we'll see where you can basically go out the whole summer and catch fish,
There you go, man. Maybe we'll get to that, because I'm sure they've got them all counted up out there. 58%. I do like that 58% go to the private fishermen and 42% for hire. I mean, I know that for those charter boats, that is...
It's like bread and butter for them, going out to those, bottom areas, dropping lines down. That's the easy way for them to make money.
And it's tough because, you get a couple of cancellations or the weather's bad. That's your money, man. Yeah. That's your money. And they try, they got to make a large chunk of it right here in this tourist season, if you will. So, but I do like, that the regular old men can go out there, or regular old people can go out there and catch their amount as well. Man, I feel for the FWC WC people, because I'm on that fence of like, well, why are you regulating something that God made? But also at the same time, I know how we humans are and kind of just take things for granted sometimes and don't share the wealth as much.
And these numbers are only what's harvested. So remember, there's always that percentage that gets taken by the tax man, if you know what I'm talking about.
Uncle Sam got to get his fish too, huh?
Yeah, man, you know how that works. Sometimes you go out there and reel one in, and by the time you get it in, you only have a fish head left or what have you. So it's a good thing, though, they don't count those.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so your thoughts on Scotty Scheffler. In an arrest report, the Louisville Police Department alleged Scheffler refused to comply and then accelerated forward, and Detective Brian Gillis was brought to the ground. So that's essentially where he gets the second degree assault charge from, assault on a police officer, which, if that's a charge right there that if you get booked on that, 99.9 or 99.99999% of people, you're not just going to go into get booked and then just get right out after that. But the detective did suffer pain, swelling, and abrasions to his left wrist and knee, and then was transported to a hospital for medical treatment. So he's facing charges, Scotty, is second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding traffic signals from an officer directing traffic. So that assault charge, a felony. All the other three are misdemeanors. What was your initial reaction whenever my social media and text messages were kind of blowing up, and mainly with the guys, with Ryan and Jay? But when I first wake up and I see this, I'm like, what in the world is going on? Of all of the golfers on the PGA Tour, in which I could probably name you maybe 50 maximum, this would have been the last guy, and not because he's the number one golfer or anything. It's just kind of the way that he carries himself, portrays himself, that I would have never in a million years guessed that it would be Scotty Scheffler that we're talking about today.
Yeah, he's kind of the Russell Wilson of golfers. Just kind of says the right thing most of the time, and is kind of like rah-rah, And,
yeah, I'll give you that.
Kind of low-key.
But Russell Wilson with a lot less let's ride.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're talking a team versus a single-person sport as well.
100%. But there's not that kind of in your face about Scotty Scheffler. He's kind of more one of those quiet, laid back.
Moment.
I'm trying to think of
the Masters
of it. He
showed a little emotion there on a good shot.
Yeah, we're talking about one moment on the biggest, and not taking that away from it. Just he's more of a bland
not very
superstar,
animated,
if you will. Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone like a Nikola Jokic almost. You know what I mean? Where kind of right there just says the right thing, does
stoic.
The right things. Yeah, exactly. So
okay. So first off, when I heard the news this morning, I actually had ESPN on, and saw the breaking news. I also got messages from some of our group. Our boy Miles keeps us up.
Yeah,
to date
Miles,
on a lot of stuff. He's on it, boy.
He is always on it. He's got he's like, these might be the charges that he's going to be facing. Since we got charge sheet.
We got mugshot. We got all kinds of stuff. So big ups to Miles. I mean, Barrett, if you're listening to, buddy, you got some competition there on breaking some news too.
Yeah.
Miles is on it all the time. And then I was, of course, just real quick, waiting for all the great memes to come out, and I did get some. So I'm
the
happy
memes
there.
have been. The memes and the gifts, the memery from this has been amazing.
Unfortunately, I had a busy day at work, so I haven't been able to peruse Facebook and whatnot, looking at some of those, but it'll be fun this weekend, I can promise you that. But moving on to...
They'll get better.
Oh, definitely. It's more time people have to think about it and, actually produce some stuff. But it's unfortunate. I'm hoping that he didn't have some kind of an elitist type mentality where, we were talking about even before the show, how unfortunately the way that our country's going this way, where people are always fighting and arguing. People think, I guess, rules don't usually apply to them. They find a way to, make them exempt in their minds from certain things. So I'm hoping that wasn't the case. But, I mean, he is the number one golfer. I'm sure everywhere he goes, everybody's tossing him flowers and kind of, he's always hearing yes and never hearing no. So that might have something to do with it. I mean, if you got a cop kind of attached to your car one way or another with his hand on it, and he's got that bright yellow jacket on, it's kind of hard to say you didn't see the guy there, didn't know something was going on. It seems to me like you were just trying to pull away and get away from the situation.
Get off me. I got a tee time to catch.
And I get it. I'm sure he's got a routine he wants to follow because, look at the success the guy's having.
Yeah.
He's got to be doing something right? Mm-hmm. So, and he's had a good day today. But like we were saying as well, I mean, when the police ask you to do stuff, typically the best thing to do is just comply, listen to the, what they want you to do. That way, you get off a lot easier. Maybe they don't mess with you at all, give you a warning on certain things, we know, I mean, you give them a hard time, they're going to give you a hard time, right?
Yeah, and it's a little bit easier for them to give you a hard time.
They have a good reason for it, right? So, he's lucky he got out in enough time to actually meet his tee time. I was actually kind of curious if he wasn't able to, if they were going to make some kind of exemption and start him later, or if he was just going to have to like DQ and forfeit, and then there goes his chance at winning the championship and his chance at the Slam.
I think he would have been disqualified.
That's what I'm thinking.
Point, just from hearing from how Ryan and Jay talked about it today on the Inside Drive.
He shouldn't make an exemption for something like that. You know, it's unfortunate, but like, hey, rules are rules, and if you broke them or you got yourself in a situation, then maybe you don't get to golf this weekend. So I'm sure we'll find out a little bit more. We'll hear a little bit more from him. I'm sure like after today's over, he has a chance maybe to sit down with the media.
He's already sat down with the media and kind of talked about it. One of the things that he brought up was he did his stretching from a jail cell, and that was a career first for him.
Always first for something.
Yeah, exactly. Outside of that, I didn't listen to the whole entire press conference. I think by the time that he gets to not first appearance, but like the arraignment or whatnot, and that'll be 8 p.m. our time on Tuesday. I think all of this, maybe one charge sticks, but for you to get in and out like that, you can say preferential treatment for sure. But I don't know how. I don't know, man. I have no idea. I could care or not. I could care less. I don't even want to put my opinion on it because more than likely I'm going to be wrong about it anyway. So it was a very chaotic situation, says Scotty Scheffler. Understandably so, considering the tragic accident that had occurred earlier. He's talking about the passing of John Mills there. And there was a big misunderstanding of what I thought I was being asked to do. I never intended to disregard any of the instructions. I'm hopeful to put this to the side and focus on golf today, which I think he did a decent job of that, shooting 5 under. He said, of course, all of us involved in the tournament express our deepest sympathies to the family of the man who passed away in the earlier accident this morning. It truly puts everything in perspective. The PGA put out a statement. Our primary concern today remains with the family of John Mills, who lost his life in a tragic accident early this morning while reporting to work. As it relates to the incident involving Scotty Scheffler, we are fully cooperating as local authorities review what took place while the legal process plays out. Questions should be directed to Scheffler's attorney or local authorities. Do you think Scotty Scheffler should show up like Ricky Fowler tomorrow?
Like you mean like all loud,
orange?
All orange. Ooh, that'd be nice. But I mean, that's Fowler's Sunday getup, isn't it? Usually.
Yeah, but we're not trying to be like Ricky Fowler. We're trying to be like the longest yard or the longest drive.
We can have, Tiger's got Sunday red, and Scotty Scheffler's going to have Saturday orange.
There you go.
Maybe what we'll do.
I mean, this might become a part of his routine. He might ask to be getting picked up every Friday before the second round of a tournament. Like, hey, come on,
I guess he's got to win it first, right?
Dude, Full Swing. If the cameras were around, the Netflix documentary, this is going to be golden for Full Swing.
And hey, check this out. Big ups to Dan Graziano.
Yeah.
He was on it this morning. He had his phone out, got recorded, got audio, everything. You know, I saw that on ESPN too. So dude was right on it. Lots of great info. And he's a football guy. He's not even a golf guy. So that's just cool as hell,
Yeah, and you know how the majors get everybody kind of paying attention to him. But very unfortunate situation, to say the least. And one of the things that was written in the police report by Detective Gillis was the $80 pants are approximately valued. His uniform pants of $80 are damaged beyond repair.
Oh, that's such a sad story. I mean,
why even put something like that in there? I guess you got to be very detailed. I've never wrote a police report in my life, but
unfortunately,
they had 5 people working on those pants. They tried to save the pants.
It's like Humpty Dumpty trying to put it back together. Like, come on, man. It's a pair of pants.
Someone kind of put a comment on Twitter, like what Bone Crusher said. Like, I could just imagine this being in evidence, and the investigators walk up, and seamstress is there, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything with these." So $80. That'll be coming out of the pocket of old Scotty Scheffler. But we'll keep you guys updated on what's going on, the latest and greatest with Scotty Scheffler. Until then, we're going to play a little traffic jam and trivia with you. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Go ahead and give us a call, 850-215-6290. I've got an opportunity for 5 different winners this afternoon. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for Mike Greenberg.
I would not have my daughter call me Mike.
Right.
She calls me Dad.
But your nephew says Uncle Michael.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
Are you distinguishing between the Mike and the Michael?
No, I'm saying one's using your first name and one's not.
She calls me Dad.
Of course she calls you Dad.
You want her to call me Father Michael?
Papa Mike. Papa Mike.
What am I, a priest?
Greeny. Weekdays on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. A likelihood of thunderstorms and some clouds the rest of the day with a wind at 16 miles per hour coming out of the south and 81. Tonight, look for very light showers and a chance of thunderstorms with a temperature near 77. Tomorrow, a high around 82 and definite thunderstorms and very heavy rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's time for a new kitchen from Kitchen Designs. Kitchen Designs in Panama City Beach and Santa Rosa Beach offers full-service cabinets, countertops, and flooring, plus cash and carry cabinets available the very next day. Kitchen Designs has been family-owned and operated for over 20 years. Visit their showroom at 7934 Front Beach Road and on Lynn Drive in Santa Rosa Beach. Or call Kitchen Designs, 850-775-4150.
That boot store reminds you to thank a veteran this Memorial Day. Without the many sacrifices of our military, we could not enjoy the freedoms we realize today. And remember, that boot store carries a wide selection of name brand Western wear and work clothing like Carhartt work clothes that will make the perfect gift for that veteran at an affordable price. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Burke at 15th Street, Panama City. That boot store where God is good all the time.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
But I wonder how much time he really kind of put into the playbook.
Where it's halftime all the time.
He may be the cream of this crop of quarterbacks.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Well, they got to do something here, but otherwise this is just going to be another lost season.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Don't forget about the next Braves broadcast. When's that going to be, Caveman Rick?
Right after our show.
It is. 6 o'clock coverage starts for a 6:20 first pitch. You got Waldron going for the San Diego Padres and Max Fried looking to continue his good run. First pitch tonight, 6:20. Tomorrow night, they will kick off at 6:15. Our coverage starts right here at 5 o'clock. And then Sunday, back-to-back Sunday nights of Sunday Night Baseball for the Braves. Our coverage starts at 4:55. And first pitch says 6 o'clock. They always say that, but it really... First pitch is around 6:08, 6:10.
So real quick, Ronald Acuna Jr. tonight. Think he steals some bases?
10 stolen bases tonight for Ronald Acuna Jr.
No, I don't know about that.
No.
Over and under 1.5?
Let's say he gets one. I'm going to go with one. It's never really a safe bet when you're doing stolen bases, but how about Ellie De La Cruz, though? He had 4 last night. He was 4 for 4. 4 for 4 at the plate, and then 4 stolen bases. Man, very impressive stuff. He's at 30, and he's got more stolen bases than quite a few Major League Baseball teams. There's a certain number, but I don't want to use all of our content now. We're going to be talking about Major League Baseball at 5 o'clock. Also, there's an inaugural Cultura International Festival that's going to feature live entertainment, 60 local vendors and businesses, and culture and food of over 50 countries. And that's starting tonight in downtown Panama City and is going to be going through Sunday. It'll kick off at 6 p.m. tonight with a food truck festival and live performances at the Panama City Marina. Then tomorrow they're going to have a 5K color run. That's going to be starting at 2 p.m. So lots of cool stuff going on over here in Panama City in general. But if you want to get a little bit more culture in your life, y'all head over to downtown at some point in time this weekend. All right, here's our trivia question for today. You ready for this?
Let's go.
Name one other golfer. Now, there's 5 golfers that I have on this list. I'm not accepting any other ones. I'm not trying to do research search, but name one other golfer who's been arrested during or around a tournament. The furthest out that I'm going to accept is about 2 days. I've got the list of 5 names, so we're going to accept 5 winners. The first winner gets a swag bag. The other winners are going to be getting a $10 coupon to Swampy Jack Wongos. This should be fun. I mean, you can Google it, and we'll find out if you guys got the right answers. But name one other golfer who's been arrested during or around a tournament for your opportunity to win a swag bag from ESPN Northwest Florida. And everyone is going to get a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. You can call right now. You don't even got to have a trivia answer, and I'll give you a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. You might ask me why? Because we've got way too much back there. So give us a call, 850-215-6290. And them daggum things are expensive these days, bro.
You ain't lying, man.
Those 12-packs are like $8.
Yeah.
I remember when it was like 2 for $5 back in the day, or you get the I'll just say their generic brand, the Czech colas, you know what I mean? From the old Checkmark grocery store.
Yes, sir.
And you could, I think it was like 5 for $10 back in the day, you know?
I used to stock those up, in between, intermission periods.
Yeah, intermission
playing
periods for
hockey in the aisles.
Yeah. Yeah, I brought that up on the inside.
Those were
drive.
fun nights, yeah.
Yes, sir. I mean, I don't know if that news could have broke at a better time. The Scotty Scheffler, not trying to say like, oh, of course, I think all of us wish that this didn't happen because we're talking about someone's life being lost in John Mills. But, for a show that's centered around golf, well, I don't want to say they're centered around sports, but both of those guys are huge in the game of golf, the world of golf. So that was a lot of fun for me just to kind of sit back and hear everything that they were talking about this morning. So don't forget about the Inside Drive from 11 to 1 right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And of course, you can't forget about Coach James Hale and his show. That is from 7 to 9 Mondays through Fridays. All right, kick us off with a little On This Day as we wait for a trivia caller, 850-215-6290. And before you get started, David from Panama City, you are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Can you name one other golfer who's been arrested during or around a tournament?
Well, I tell you, I got to go with John Daly.
Was that was that during a tournament, though? Because he's been arrested, and he's not on my list here.
Well, man, had to guess.
Hey,
he'd be a good educated guess.
It's a wonderful guess. It's a wonderful guess, and for that, we're going to go ahead and give you partial credit here. You're not going to win the swag bag, but you are going to win $10 to Swampy Jack Wongos, and of course, our great friends at Buffalo Rock. We're going to hook you up with a 12-pack of a Buffalo Rock product that you would like. We've got Mountain Dew, Code Red. We've got Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. So, David, thank you so much. You are the winner. What's your favorite sport to keep track of?
Oh, it's definitely college football.
College football. Who's your team, my man?
Florida State.
Florida State. Woo! What's your outlook for them in DJ Uiagalelei?
Actually, I think we were 13-0 last year, but we've added another lot of transfer portals. I think we're going to do it again.
I like it, man. Does it still sting being left out of the college football playoff, or is it like, all right, hey, we're on to a new season?
Poor guy.
I think it stings more that our guys gave up after we didn't get in.
You know what? I think I've heard that from a few Florida State fans, but I don't think that that's the more popular response as much as they want to focus on. And I don't blame Florida State fans at all for it stinging, but I'm in the same boat as you because as an Alabama fan, I thought it should have been Florida State and over Alabama. I think that the committee messed that up, but they did what they did, and we can't change that. I'm with you though. I think it stings more that the players kind of gave up, especially in a big marquee game against the Georgia Bulldogs. David, we appreciate the call, and we're going to let you go here, my man. Actually, do me a favor, hang on the line, and Bone Crusher is going to grab some information from you so you can come pick up your prize package, all right?
Okay, thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, David.
I
Rick.
like his thinking on that with John Daly, too, by the way.
Yes, no, and I had to, that was awesome. Again, like I said, I'm only going to accept the 5 that we've got here, but at the end of the day, we got to throw some partial credit around, and we've got to hook some people up with some Buffalo Rock, and we got to send them out there to Swampy Jack Wongo's Adventures. Rick, you are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. How's it going, my friend?
Hold on.
Yeah,
You there, Rick?
You there, Rick? I can hear you, but I think sometimes on line 2, they're not able to hear us for some reason. So, Rick, if you'll do me a favor and go ahead and call right back, we'll get you onto the right line. Oh, you can hear me?
There we go.
I don't think he can hear me. So
You got me now?
Yeah. Do you got
Hello?
me? You got me? Here we go. We're playing phone tag. Hey, Rick, do me a favor. If you're listening to the radio still, go ahead. Yeah, give us a call back, my friend. Give us a call back, and we'll get you on the right line to be able to hear you. Sometimes that happens, Bone Crusher. Sometimes when we put them on line 2, we're just not able to hear them. We'll get Rick on line 1, and we'll be able to continue on playing trivia. And you guys can continue to call 850-215-6290. Still got 5 opportunities. John Daly is a great answer, and if someone wants to call in with Tiger Woods, I'll give you credit for that too. Why? Because I'm in a given mood today, Caveman Rick. That is exactly why. All right, so while we're waiting on getting Rick on the line with us, we can go ahead and start on this day. And you know how Murphy's Law goes. By the time you get started talking about it, we'll have Rick on the line with us. What do you got?
Probably so. But all the way back in 1912 at Fenway Park in Boston is officially dedicated 1 month after its official opening. The Red Sox followed the White Sox in this game 5-2.
Oh, man, the Battle of the Soxes.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to start, you know? I wonder if that was on purpose.
I think that the options were limited.
Well, that's true, too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have even limited options to do something like that, that's kind of...
What if all of the teams, what if that's how baseball started, was just all of the teams were named after the color of the stockings that they wore?
That'd be kind of cool, I guess. But you'd run
it would be kind of lame.
Out of numbers. You know what I'm just saying? Like, at first when they were doing it,
when they first started,
Yeah, I mean, like, before they had numbers on jerseys and stuff, I could see maybe something like that, just the color.
They run out of the colors, and then all of a sudden, all right, now it's the blue caps, the blue hats.
You have to call Crayola. Come out with some new colors, man, so we can make some new uniforms.
Hey, there's plenty of colors out there, and I think they're inventing them daily. In 1915, the Cubs' George Zip Zabel, that's a heck of a name right there, relieves with 2 outs in the first, winds up with a 4-3 19-inning win over Brooklyn, and that is the longest relief job ever.
Pretty impressive.
We're going to break from on this day. We're going to go over to Rick. Rick, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I know you can hear us now, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good stuff. Name one other golfer who's been arrested during or around a tournament, trying to look within 2 days. I've got a list of 5 names right here in front of me.
I'm going to go with Matt Every.
Matt Every was in his first year on the PGA Tour when he was arrested for marijuana possession at the 2010 John Deere Classic. He was arrested along with 2 other men after police were called to investigate the room. The smell became stronger when police knocked on the door, according to a police report. I don't know how that happens. Like, all of a sudden, like, they knock and like some magic. Woo! It just got a little bit louder in here. He got suspended for 3 weeks and was suspended 12 weeks in 2019 for violating the PGA Tour's conduct policy. So Matt Every is 100% correct. Rick, what is your favorite sport to follow?
My favorite what?
Sport to follow.
Oh, baseball.
Oh, is this Rick Ty?
Yes.
My man, what do you think we see out of the Braves and the Padres tonight?
You're going to see at least one stolen base by Acuna.
There we go.
I like it. Proving that you're listening, my friend. Well, Rick, do us a favor. Hang on the line, and Bone Crusher is going to grab some info from you. You just won the swag bag 12-pack of Buffalo Rock as well, my friend. Thank you so much for listening, and go Braves.
You better believe it, man. Chop on.
I love it, man.
Congratulations, Rick.
Every day, most every day after our shows, when the Braves are getting ready to roll on, Rick texts me something from the show that he liked, and then he'll also say, "Go Braves," or "We need this." And I just love his fandom of the Braves. I love how he got on the Inside Drive one day with us and chopped it up for about a whole segment, just talking about the games he was going to and how excited he was. I love the love for the Atlanta Braves, and honestly, I just love anyone who loves their sports teams with a large amount of passion. 1925, we left off with you, Caveman Rick.
All right, 1925, Tris Speaker records his 3,000 career hit in a 2-1 win over Washington. That's pretty impressive, too. So maybe he was the leader before Pete Rose, I'm assuming.
Yeah, He was. He was the leader before Pete Rose was. We still have 4 opportunities to win. It's going to be Swampy Jack Wongos from here on out, and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. Don't forget about that. Name one other golfer who's been arrested during or near a tournament. The furthest out that I'm going to accept is 2 days. In 1939, on this day, the first televised baseball game broadcasted on NBC. It was Princeton University taking down Columbia University 2-1.
How about that Princeton, man? Princeton is the first in a lot of things.
Yeah,
first college football game,
yeah.
First televised baseball game. So it's pretty impressive. Anything that you've done around Princeton. I actually grew up around there. Mercer County, cool place. All right, so moving on. 1945, every American League game on the schedule is rained out for the 4th straight day.
Golly, could you imagine? In those days, you didn't have as much to look forward to at night. Like, as far as entertainment goes, I mean, we could be talking about a better time.
Didn't have as many teams either.
Yeah, and there's that as well. But you're looking forward to the game. Like, you got tickets to go to the game, and then it rains out. And then the next night, you're thinking, oh, man, double header. Yeah. And then the next day, then it rains. And then the next day, you're like, all right, well, maybe back-to-back doubleheaders here. Do I get tickets for all of those?
Nice.
And in those days, I'm sure that they honored it in that type of way. And then it rains out again, and then for the 4th day. And we're not just talking about one game. It don't matter where you was at. If you wasn't a fan of the American League, it was rained out. 1961, Roger Maris hits his 4th home run on the season, but his first of the season at Yankee Stadium. He goes on to set the single-season record in 1961 with 61 home runs.
All right, back in 1964, first Tim Hortons Coffee and Donut Shop opens in Hamilton, Ontario by NHL player Tim Horton.
Which is
Tim Hortons Donuts.
A staple of NHL advertising. Have you ever had any Hortons coffee or donuts?
Yeah, I used to visit Canada. I got some family that lives north of Detroit, outside of Windsor. Actually, I lied. Not north of Detroit. It's kind of funny. Windsor in that area is actually south of Detroit, so you think Canada being north, but the way the borderlines and stuff are set, it's actually south, which is kind of weird, but yeah.
Cool stuff, man. Cool story as well. 1970, Hank Aaron collects his 3,000th hit and his 570th home run in a 7-6 loss to the Cincinnati Reds. Aaron was the 9th player in history to record 3,000 hits and the first to also have 500 career home runs. Hammerin' Hank.
All right, this is a great one. 2 years after I was born in 1979, the Phillies beat the Cubs 23-22 on 50 hits with 11 home runs.
Also, a little break in weather right here. Tornado warning for Walton County until 5 p.m. Thanks to Dave Ford for shooting that over to us. Tornado warning for Walton County until 5 p.m. 1998, David Wells pitches the 13th perfect game in modern Major League history. The Yankees end up beating the Twins 4-0. I like this next one.
How about back in 2009, Rays manager Joe Madden makes a mistake while filling out his lineup card, and Tampa is forced to play without a DH. Pitcher Andy Sonnenstein is hitting third in the order and responds with an RBI double to help the Rays to a 7-5 win over Cleveland. 09. No, that wasn't the World Series year. That was a year after.
Yeah, this is just cool to me because, pitchers are not expected to hit or not expected to be good at hitting. You're talking about an American League team here, playing an American League team. They've always had the designated hitter, at least since the 80s. And the fact that the manager messes up, a very analytical manager in Joe Madden as well, and then for the pitcher to be the one who comes through, that's awesome. 2013, Justin Upton hits a grand salami to help the Braves to an 8-5 win over the Dodgers. Jason Hayward returns to the lineup for the first time since having an appendectomy and records a pair of hits.
In 2015, Shelby Miller comes with 1 out, no hitter against the Marlins as Justin Bohr singles with 2 outs in the 9th. Marlins manager Mike Redmond on bench coach Rob Leary are fired after the game.
Yeah, that was one of the last times that the Braves got close, or one of the few times that the Braves have been close to a no-hitter since Kent Mercker did it back in 1994. 2016, the Braves fire manager Freddie Gonzalez and replace him with Gwinnett manager Brian Snitker. Atlanta was not 9-28 at the time of the change, which was the worst start in franchise history. And the rest has been history as Manager Snit has done a great job.
Hey, this one goes out to Dr. A. If you guys listen to the Inside Drive, he's a shoe guy. 2020 Michael Jordan's autographed Air Nike 1 trainers from 1985 sell for a record $560,000 in an online auction.
Goodness gracious. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Hey, trivia is going to be open for the rest of the afternoon as long as we don't have a guest on. We might even get to the point where we're accepting text answers for this trivia question. We'll be right back after these messages.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
AC is up next.
You see, you got to keep winning those paychecks before every day to make him happy. But here's the thing. There's losers every single day that come in. We hate Jim. We hate this. We hate AC. Well, if you hate us so much, why don't you do something about it?
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. A likelihood of thunderstorms and some clouds the rest of the day with a wind at 16 miles per hour coming out of the south and 81. Tonight, look for very light showers and a chance of thunderstorms with a temperature near 77. Tomorrow, a high around 82 and definite thunderstorms and very heavy rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
You owe the IRS back taxes, and dealing with the IRS stresses you out. Fortunately, IRS Problem Relief can help you resolve back taxes and represent you to the IRS so you don't have to face them alone. Last year, IRS Problem Relief saved clients drowning in tax debt, and IRS Problem Relief is a local company right here in Panama City, not some 800 number where you can never talk to the same person twice. Put those problems behind you so you can focus on moving forward. Call Edward Corey with IRS Problem Relief, 850-784-8176. For a free consultation, call Edward Corey with IRS Problem Relief. It's 850-784-8176 or visit irsproblemrelief.com.
Hometown Sports Talk from hometown hosts.
People are loving it.
We're live and local. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Are you kidding me?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back in the doghouse, and that is a fitting song there for the tornado warning that is going on in Walton County right now.
I thought the siren for Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, man, those might have been a little bit louder. But this is the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Tornado warning in Walton County until 5 p.m. I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher. Atlanta Braves right here tonight. First pitch at 6:20. Max Fried going for the Braves. And coverage starts right after the Afternoon Underdogs at 6 p.m. They're taking on the San Diego Padres. The Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida, sponsored by Brock's Pest Control, Store More Portable Buildings, Bill Bird Kia, Mid-South Lumber, and PCB Hobby. Our next guest is an author. He just had his book come out not too long ago, Show Up For You, The Daily Motivation for the Grind Called Life. He is a certified mental health coach, I believe, life coach, certified life coach there. And he's a great friend of the show, and we had him on not too long ago. School's about to get out, so what other better time than now for Coach Dave Ford to join us and talk to the youth. Coach Ford, how are you doing today?
What's going on, gentlemen? Thanks for having me on again.
Hey, thank you for giving us some of your time. So let's start off with the seniors who are going to be graduating. What would be your biggest piece of advice for the seniors as they get ready to take on their next journey in life, or continue the journey in life, but take that next step of, be it college, be it athletics in another field, be it a trade school? How should they approach this summer?
Well, challenge for you guys real quick. Think about what was going through your mind and how you guys were feeling when you were leaving high school. Okay, and maybe you haven't even thought about it, but it's a big bag of mixed emotions, right?
Yeah.
And because for 13 years of your life straight, you had to go to school, and there were no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was something that you had to do, and then all of a sudden you have this freedom that can be dangerous, and you don't have to go to school another day the rest of your life. And so the reason this is such a very interesting and fascinating topic that people tend to think about this time of year, it's really emotional. You know, there's a lot of emotions tied up, not just for the students, but the teachers, which I used to be a teacher, and for the parents especially, and the family, and you know, a lot of things go into a kid graduating high school. And so my question is, what's next? And you know, and that happens to be you know, that's a purposeful segue there. That's the book I'm working on right now, and there's a lot of personal stuff in there that hits close to home, where I really thought I knew what I was doing coming out of high school. I had it all mapped out. I was obsessed with being a basketball player, and I was going to reach that goal. But even amongst that, I still had a lot of uncertainties, and I didn't really know what that roadmap looked like. And so my message to graduating seniors right now is, you know, if you haven't exactly mapped out what that looks like, then, you know, fear is going to creep in, which is okay, because that's something that you need to embrace instead of running from it. Because if you start running now, you're going to spend the next 10 years of your adult life running too, and then you're going to be 30, and all of a sudden you're like, what the heck happened? And so, you know, it's really a sobering time, because you need to take time to breathe and pat yourself on the back and say, man, I survived, right? Because high school is really about survival, dude. I mean, back in the early 90s, it was so easy back then to get through high school. It really wasn't a challenge at all. But as we talked about on the previous show when I was on, the challenges now are immense. They are rapid. And they come out of nowhere. So this generation is dealing with a lot of things that mine did not. And so, yeah, it's just about what's next, and then how do you handle it? These are all things that you have to figure out on the fly when you're coming out of high school. So it's a fascinating subject for me that I could talk on a long time.
That's such a great point, too, because when I was going to high school, I graduated in 2009, my papa would always be like, man, I just don't know if I would be able to take it in this generation with all of the options, with all of the temptations, all of, you know, the things that are going on in this world. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me. And then when I look at some of like what goes on at the high school level these days, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I would be able to hack it. So it seems like we're getting to that at a pace of fast forward right now, where it's just like it gets harder and harder each and every single year. What is, you know, you mentioned that you were a teacher. What is that teacher's perspective like whenever, you know, we're getting ready to finish the year and you're saying goodbye to all of your students? I mean, there's got to be some mental health issues there, right? Maybe like, or things that you have to deal with when you're, you know, a teacher saying goodbye to all of your students. How is that?
It's tough, because you would assume on the outside that we are running out the doors celebrating and throwing the confetti, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like that at all. It was quite the opposite. And I had remember how that felt back then. And so for us teachers, man, did we have to take on a different role that year. We really didn't get to do a lot of teaching. It was a lot more just being there for the kids. And I was teaching sixth grade English at the time, and social studies, and I was also doing seventh grade broadcasting. So the consistent thing that was running was those kids were just wanting to see if we were going to show up every day, and they were also wanting to find out, could we just be there for them? But fast forward to now, it's really a matter of, you know, you kind of ask yourself, did you do your best for the kids? And did you not spend too much time being selfish every day in the parking lot going, man, why did I show up again today? Because teaching is hard, man.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Teaching's brutal. I'm not going to lie. It's really brutal. And I don't want to get on a tangent about, along with first responders and the military, about how underpaid terribly teachers are in America, let alone the state of Florida. And, with a master's degree here, you can't even get over $45,000 to teach, which is stupid.
And we're talking.
Have more. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and we're talking about the people who, obviously first responders help in so many different ways, but with teachers, we're talking about the people who shape the future, and we're giving our teachers no incentive to want to become teachers. We're giving our young people no incentive to want to become teachers.
No, not at all. And it's a field that's dying rapidly, and the kids are suffering. Those are the ones that are suffering the most. It's not about the adults; it's about the kids. And but I can tell you, going back to your question, I can tell you that on the last day of school, there was a kid that struggled mightily, not only in my class but in his other classes that year. And he had a lot of things going on at home. And like a lot of kids, they were just trying to find clothes to come to school with every day because so many kids were displaced. Me and my family were out of our house for 8 months, and we were in 8 different rental houses during that school year.
Wow.
And so, I could really relate to those kids coming in. And so this kid struggled. He had some attitude issues. He had some consistency issues. But come the last day of school, he walked up to me, and we met eyes, and he just put his knuckles out. He just wanted to do a knuckle pound. And we didn't even say anything to each other. I understood where he was coming from. He understood where I was coming from. There was respect there. And he was thanking me with his eyes. It's amazing what you can read through someone's eyes, even a little kid, because he knew he didn't need to say a word to me. And he really wasn't even asking for a hug. But it was an amazing moment that I will never forget. And it's really special. That was one of my final moments as a teacher.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Kids are kind of vicious. Teaching's got to be tough, and they definitely need to pay you guys a lot more for doing that kind of work. But we talked about seniors earlier. What about underclassmen this summer? What do you think, a good underclassmen summer would look like as far as maybe working or traveling or, working on a particular skill or, maybe something they want to do like later on in life, like a trade or something?
One word, busy. Stay busy. Just like all of us, if we have idle hands, a lot of bad things can happen. And it doesn't matter if you're a teenager or a grown adult. You have got to be doing things that are productive and working towards your goals instead of staying still or worse, going backwards. And I'm the guy that's saying that if you are standing still, then you're losing and you are going backwards. And teenagers really, really are tricky. And, again, we remember how we were and the awkward moments that we went through. But for underclassmen, especially the juniors, right? Like it really starts getting, the pressure cooker is boiling over because you're like, holy crap, I only have one more year. And so depending on what they're saying to themselves, either they are that kid who's taking care of business and they have a great support group, or they could be the kid that has just barely been getting by. And that's a common story now, which is unfortunate. And I've had many experiences with a lot of these kids and also players that are barely getting by. But there's something in that inherently challenges me because I really want to help that kid. The one that has their stuff together, I'm going to be the first one there to pat him on the back and say, congratulations, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, and you're probably going to have a great life. But for that kid that really maybe shows up 2 or 3 days a week and takes the other 2 off, or just has issues getting there maybe mentally, maybe it's really hard. There's a lot that goes into that, right? There's so much that goes into that. So if you're a junior, you really, if you haven't figured things out about where you're going at that point, you got to start. If you're a freshman and now you're going in to be a sophomore, you've got time, right? It's just amazing how 4 years is grouped up in so many different ways, and the feelings and the thoughts and the emotions that go through all that. And But yeah, high school is one big pressure cooker, isn't it? And it's like the NCAA tournament, survive and advance.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it, survive and advance. What about from the mental health awareness, just like an overall overview? Well, what does, let's kind of keep it on the juniors. What is a good mental health awareness for them going through this summer? I mean, staying busy, I know that you've mentioned that, but what are some other things they could work on?
Well, first of all, again, I'll give you a personal experience. Fear is a big motivating factor. It always has been for me. And what I mean by that, not in fear as in terror or horror, but fear of making mistakes. Okay? And I still live my life like that. Like, I still live every day to make my parents proud. I'm blessed that I still have them at my age.
Amen.
And so I have always lived my life by the creed of I'm going to walk down that line going straight down the middle of the road, because I don't want to disappoint my parents. So right along with that, these kids and all of us should be living to not disappoint themselves, okay? I tell my kids a lot, and I spoke with my son who just turned 17 recently. We spoke about the whole make your future self thank you, right, for doing what you're doing in the present time. And so really so much involved in that junior year where you're transitioning into being a senior is preparation and just making sure that you're putting your ducks in a row, to use an old expression. Just making sure, if you haven't done something that is, below board, if you haven't taken any chances, if you haven't given into peer pressure by the time you've completed your junior year, guess what? Don't start now, because you should have done that in your freshman and sophomore years when you could get away with it. And you can be a little crazy, but if you've gotten this far and now you are in the track to get through this thing unscathed, then let's stay on that track. And a lot of that is making sure you ask questions to the adults, or maybe even just one adult that you can trust. Pick out that one person that you can say, "Hey, have you been through this before? Because I'm really confused." A lot of kids really keep things close to the vest.
Hey, Coach. Let me stop you right there. Do you mind hanging on, and we'll carry this on into the next segment?
Oh, you know it, brother.
Awesome, great stuff. We got Coach Dave Ford on the line with us, and we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. If you have any questions for Coach Ford, 850-215-6290. Send them over via text. We'll read them out to him. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Well, good morning, Coach. This is Bubba. How you doing?
Bubba. Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing? You sound a little down, Bubba.
Oh, I'm up, man. I'm up because I avoided what's old number, what's his number, 45. He's having a little trouble up there in New York City. Now they're talking about how he doesn't sleep in the same room as his wife. Well, hell, I don't even sleep in the same house with my wife.
Weekday morning, 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. A likelihood of thunderstorms and some clouds the rest of the day with a wind at 16 miles per hour coming out of the south and 81. Tonight, look for very light showers and a chance of thunderstorms with a temperature near 77. Tomorrow, a high around 82 and definite thunderstorms and very heavy rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Here at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we're here to help you celebrate the graduate in your life. What better way to celebrate this moment in time than with an exquisite timepiece? We have a large selection of Bulova and Caravelle watches, now 15% off. Tracy's Fine Jewelry has the perfect personalized gifts, from diamond initial pendants and rings to monogram pieces they'll cherish for a lifetime. All on sale today for 30% off. Commemorate your graduate today and show them how proud you are with a gift from Tracy's Fine Jewelry on the corner of 15th Street and East Avenue in Cedar Grove.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs, with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Search Lynn Haven WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The 2024 Atlanta Braves are on a mission to bring home a 7th straight NL East title and head back to the Fall Classic.
Harris will leap, and he got it! He caught the ball!
Tonight, Brian Snicker leads the Braves into action against the San Diego Padres at Truist Park.
Coverage starts tonight at 6 on your home for the Atlanta Braves. ESPN, Northwest Florida.
When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back in the doghouse, and this is the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher. This is ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. The Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off from ESPN Northwest Florida. Man, since 2017, you guys have made us the place to go for the Braves right here in the Panhandle. So we're going to return the favor. That's going to be starting soon, June 3rd. You can listen weekdays at 7:40, 12:40, and 5:40 when we give you the cue to call. Be caller number 10 at 850-215-6290. Automatically, you get a sweet qualifying prize, and you'll go into the grand prize drawing to win a great trip and a great experience watching the Atlanta Braves play the Toronto Blue Jays Saturday, September 7th. This is all brought to you by PCB Hobby, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and Home 2 Suites. Qualifying is going to be running from June 3rd to June 14th. All right, we left off talking with Coach Dave Ford. We've got him on the line with us, and we kind of left off talking about maybe students or the youth to find someone that they can trust to talk to. And that's kind of a hard thing to do these days, and you've got to be ever so careful about that. What would be some advice that you could give, Coach, for these youngins to find a mentor?
Well, so much goes into teaching and coaching. And, I mean, let's be honest, if you are a teacher and or a coach, you're already a mentor. I think we can agree on that. Mm-hmm. And at least if you don't look at yourself as that as a teacher in the classroom, you definitely should, because you're spending, 7 to 8 hours with the same group of kids every day for 9 months, and they're practically family. And, so you would hope as an educator that they are bringing their A game or trying to every day. And again, having gone through that, I didn't bring my A game every day. I didn't. Some days I came in as a C, and especially during that time with the post-Hurricane Michael stuff going on. And I'll tell you what, I'm just being transparent. There were days I came into the classroom, I was bringing a D effort because my mental health, my emotional health was definitely not where it needed to be. And but on the flip side of that coin, it gave me a purpose to go in there and try to be a shining light for a lot of these kids, which, man, I'll tell you what, some of the stuff I heard with them coming in, stuff they were dealing with at home, we were all they had. And it's tough for kids, no matter what age, to find out who they can trust. But kids are smart. I don't think we give them enough credit.
I agree.
And I'm not talking about smart as in book smart. I'm talking about street smart. I'm talking about paying attention to what people say, how they act. Some say judgy. I call it analytical.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, because I've been called that so many times. It's like, oh, you're judgy. No, I'm not. I just analyze people really freaking fast.
Yeah.
And that's a survival skill, man. And if you want to call it judgy, hey, man, you're just projecting yourself on me, so you need to deal with that.
Word, I like that, too.
Yeah.
I'm a big thinker like that.
It's just straight facts, man. And we have a lot of projectors in society right now, and that's something that outside of playing ball, outside of being in the classroom, I try to educate kids on what life is out there and the way people talk and the way they think and expectations. And that's a whole other educational game out there that we all have to learn the hard way by making mistakes and falling on our faces. I think the most important thing not just for young people, but for adults, but especially for young people, is avoid isolation. I'm going to say that again. Avoid isolation. Right now, it is incredibly easy. It's as easy as it's ever been to isolate yourself. You got your phone, and or you got a PC, or you got a gaming console, and you got a TV. So these are all things that I didn't have in my room. I mean, my God, I'm the generation that all those things were separate things, but now you have them all on a phone, right? You don't even need all those things I just named. They're all on your phone. So the invitation is there from the second that they wake up to isolate. And so many people have succumbed to that. And we talked about this on the last show, choosing the harder right rather than the easier wrong, right? The easier wrong is straight up picking up that phone first thing if you're a young person when you're in summer break. And for 2.5 months, that's what you're doing. And you're sitting on the couch or you're sitting in your room and you are a couch potato.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with your physical fitness. I'm just talking straight up like you're doing nothing to help yourself. And laziness absolutely is the killer of dreams and goals. The proof is all there. The evidence is there. I don't need to give anybody any data on that. We all have stories of people that we've watched go through it. Hell, I mean, some of us maybe have even gone through it ourselves. Some of us can be like, yeah, I'm tapping out today. I'm waving the white flag. I'm going to be lazy today, and that's okay. We're human. I tell my fiance this. I don't want to say often, but every now and then, I am very human. And some people are like, what are you talking about? Well, I don't want to act like just because I'm a public speaker and I'm a coach and I'm a former teacher and I'm an author that I don't make mistakes. That's ridiculous. Too many people put too much weight into titles in our society. Oh, he's doing all those things. He must have it all figured out. Heck no. No way.
I think people listen to people more so that don't come off from that high horse approach. Like, hey, look, I'm just giving you things that have helped me, but at the end of the day, don't think that I've got it all figured out. At least for me, I'll say when someone comes with that approach, I buy into what it is that they're selling, and not that you're selling anything, but I buy into the premise, to the concept more when it's not coming from someone who is coming off as a know-it-all.
Well, yeah. Well, nobody likes that person, right?
Yeah.
The guy that shows up at a party and he sees a group of people and nobody knows who he is, and he steps to that group acting like he knows what they're talking about and wants to give the stock exchange, and we're like, "Who are you, dude?"
Yeah.
Are you new? So that's just it's kind of the same concept there.
Coach Olds just sent us in a question. He says, what would you consider the perfect balance for an underclassman in regards to working, athletics, academics, and community service and family time? I don't know how you can, you need a budget to balance all of those things. But Coach Ford, what do you say?
Well, first of all, that's an impossible riddle. There is no perfect balance. That is the ideal. Right? That is the absolute ideal of all of us, or most of us, is to have perfect balance. I can tell you all that I've never had perfect balance in any part of my life. Never, any phase. And I think that's just being truthful. I think we should set our goals as high as we can to check off all those boxes. If you got 10 boxes in front of you and you can get 8 of them, man, you're killing it. If you got 9 of them, I want to be like you.
Yeah.
But I know that you don't have 10 of them. I'll call you a liar. Right? And so I think if we're all trying to shoot for 7 to 8 out of those 10, just like a free throw. I mean, I was a guard, so 80%, that was me all day long from the line. If I can do that, then I'm doing pretty well. And so if you can show me the kid that's doing all that, wow. I mean, you don't have to worry about that kid. Or maybe you do. That's the funny part too. That kid that's been grinding that hard, doing all that, guess what's going to happen? Burnout.
Yeah.
Burnout's going to happen. I've seen it, and I went through it. By the time I graduated high school, I had what we called senioritis.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was struggling. I really was. I needed a break, and I didn't take it because why? I was keeping up with the Joneses. I had to go to school. just like my friends were, because I didn't want to be that dude they were talking about at parties. Hey, did you see Ford? Man, he was doing his thing in high school, but look at him now. Mm-hmm. He's just chilling at his mom's, got his feet up, and I guess it wore him out. You don't want to be that guy.
That's a great point. Coach, if I were to ask you for like a mental health checklist, like maybe something that each morning you wake up and you've got like maybe 3 to 5 things of just kind of making sure that you're minding your P's and Q's, giving yourself those breaks, what would be like first thing when you wake up, what would that mental health checklist look like?
Well, I don't want to push spirituality on anybody, but I do have an app on my phone, and I read a Bible verse every morning first thing.
Amen.
And, I'll be the first one to admit I need to be into the Word a whole lot more than I am. But it is a little intimidating, even to a wordsmith and a reader myself. The Bible is a big, big deal.
Yeah, I try to do a Proverbs a day. I stay pretty consistent with that. But you're right, man. It's a daggum intimidating.
It is. It's big and it's immense and it's full of knowledge that some days I feel like I don't have enough time to get through my brain. But to further answer that question, I start with that. And then from there, it's just being mindful of how am I feeling and being grateful that I still have my health. At almost 48 years old, I'm still out there running the floor with the young kids at the rec with my son. I'm training every day. I'm trying to get better every day. And as long as I'm doing those things and I'm not getting too hung up on the things that didn't work for me the day before, I'm doing pretty good, And like we talked about, as long as you're opening your eyes, everything else is manageable. And, I try not to be too cliche, but that's about as real as it gets.
I like that, yeah.
I really want a young person to describe me as a real one, because that's what I try to be every day, and I'm extremely honest. Sometimes I'm honest to the point where I upset basketball players because they don't want me to be that honest with them. I say, hey, you asked me a question, you got to be ready for the answer. Mm-hmm. And so I think you'd rather me not blow smoke and tell you that you can be something that maybe you haven't put in the work to be that yet. Not saying that you can't.
Right.
I'm just saying you're not there yet. I mean, how could you be? 15, 16, 17? If you're as good as you can be at that age, what's the point of going on?
That's very true. This is
so we should always be working, man. We've never arrived. We don't arrive. We're always working.
I love that. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're talking with Coach Dave Ford. Coach, what about, I would assume here, I would make the assumption that we have more parents listening right now than children. How about a tip for parents to help their kids who are working on their own mental health, the kids who are working on their mental health and trying to work on being the best version of themselves that they can be? What's a tip for parents who are kind of trying to be that support group for them?
Listen. Just listen. Hear them. Again, we get to a certain age, we feel like we've been through it all, we've done it all, and we've seen it all. And maybe some of us have. But I can tell you that I needed to change my parental ways when I started finding out that my kids were dealing with mental illnesses. When one of them got diagnosed, as I've talked about before, with bipolar, I knew that I needed to make some changes in order to help them. And I'm so glad that I did, because my relationship with both of them is better than it's ever been. Because, I'm proud to say they lean on me for stuff, and I think every parent would like to say that when it gets quiet, they want their kid to think of them first.
Yeah.
They don't want the kid to think about a friend or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or what have you. They want to be like, you know what, no matter how old you get, I want you to come to me first. I want you to know that you got a safe space with me. And like I tell my kids, wherever I am, that's your home. Okay? So even if I can't be near you, if you got something that's really pressing you, I want you to call me or text me. And so that's my biggest piece of advice to parents out there. Is if you find that your kid is struggling, and struggling is such a loaded term, listen, and if they give you the okay to ask questions, then ask questions. If they're not ready for you to ask, don't ask, and that's hard. You know, if you're super involved, you want to solve your kids' problems, but you can't always do that. You know, you can't always solve it. They got to go through it, but you can be there for them to fall on you, and just push them back in bounds. You know, just use the sports term. If they fall out of bounds, just get them back in bounds, get them going again, and they're going to fall again, and eventually they got to pick themselves up. But do your best. You know, if you're a parent and you're giving your best, at the end of the day, you can sleep at night, and that kid will tell you one day, years from now, that'll be the payoff. Hey, I really appreciate you being there for me when I needed you. That's the best thing that we can hear as a parent. There's nothing better than that. There's no trophy for that. There's no reward dinner or gold watch for that. If your kid comes and says, man, I really remember that time you told me this, then you did it, man.
Father's Day is right around the corner for a lot of you listening. If you are young and listening and you haven't got your dad nothing for Father's Day yet, well, you could just think about something that they taught you along the way. Coach Ford, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We got to get ready for a break, but thank you again for coming on with us, and it won't be the last time. I especially want to have you on quite a bit whenever we get into the NFL season, talk a little bit more about them Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah. A lot to talk about with that. A lot of excitement coming, and things are looking good. But, again, I appreciate y'all for having me on. I love the relationship that we got going, and it's a lot more to talk about. So y'all have a blessed day, and everybody have a great weekend out there.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach Ford. Reminder, he's a author, editor, motivational speaker. His debut book, Show Up For You, Daily Motivation for the Grind Called Life. I know you can go to Amazon and check that out. Get that book for you. It consists of 365 daily quotes and then also some attributes from Coach Ford with encouraging self-belief and loyalty to yourself. So appreciate him, reaching out and saying, hey, look, I don't know when school's getting out most of the time. You know, it feels like a school 24/7 because I'm just doing the same thing every day. Like as far as the radio show goes. But yeah, he said school's getting out. I would like to, hop on with you guys again and talk about some ideas for what the youngins can do to kind of stay on top of things, because it's two different worlds, right? You talk about the seniors and which direction they're going to be going collegiately, trade-wise, whatever it is, and then you have the underclassmen who still have some things to some wrinkles to iron out. But I appreciate him coming on, and he's going to be a mainstay of this program, that is for sure. What do you want to talk about Major League Baseball wise? While we're still waiting for 4 more, we're going to go ahead and open up trivia to text answers right now. So if you text in the answer, I've got 4 more golfers left. Let me get to the question. 4 more golfers who have been, that is aptly put there. So name me one golfer who's been arrested during or around the tournament. The furthest out that I'm going to accept is 2 days. I read this article. I believe this article is from today because it was in connection with what went on at the PGA Championship up there in Kentucky. So I've got 4 golfers. Matt Every and John Daly are off the board. John Daly was a partial credit answer, but we're still going to give away a $10 Swampy Jack Wongos gift card to go along with that. The swag bag is gone, so it's all 12-pack of Buffalo Rock and a $10 off coupon over there to Swampy Jacks. 4 more golfers. You can text those into 850-215-6290 as we move forward to Major League Baseball here. Did you hear about that fan in Seattle?
I did. I seen some highlights from that too.
How about that? I think that was earlier in the week as well. So he's over there, the left field line. Josh Rojas hits a foul ball. He makes a great basket catch on it. Then on the next pitch, the very next pitch, same thing. This time he actually doesn't grab it. Kind of, he ends up having to pick it up off the ground. But the probability of that was 0.00001 off the bat of Josh Rojas. And then the next night, the Mariners got him to come out. He actually works at a casino, which is oddly enough, his name's Josh George. He works at a casino, so he knows all of those odds out there to be able to catch that ball like that, which was a wild number. Then they have him throw out the first pitch with a twist. He threw out 2 first pitches. According to the Mariners manager of baseball communications, Alex Mayer, the last time that he could find before Monday that a fan grabbed 2 foul balls in the same at-bat was August 16th of 2009. A lucky 12-year-old snagged 2 off the bat of great home run hitter and Josh Hamilton. So that was wild.
Yeah, a guy that had a lot of problems too, unfortunately. But how about that too? That's like what 10,000th of a percent, the probability of that.
Don't ask me something
That's
like
pretty
that.
crazy, to do something like that. That's like being like struck by lightning and getting bit by a shark at the same time.
Yeah, essentially. LA, how about LA, the city of Los Angeles? This don't make much sense to me because he's been with the Dodgers for what now, 40-something games, not even that. But he was with where? The Angels of Los Angeles. Of Anaheim, but still, isn't that Los Angeles? I mean, I ain't never been there, so I don't
Actually,
really know.
it's not, man. Like, I've been to SoCal, and like Anaheim's not too close to
So
LA.
why are they called the Los Angeles Angels?
It's close in like proximity, I guess, like in commuting, but like it's a good ways away.
But is it called Los Angeles?
That's what they call it. But I mean, come on, dude. They were called Anaheim Angels for a reason.
A long time.
For a long time.
All I'm getting at is LA has turned May 17th into Shohei Ohtani Day, and there was plenty of time to do that whenever he was with the A's. But now you get over to the Dodgers, have a little bit of success. Not like he didn't have success over there with the Angels, and things change. So, if you're a player, don't go play for the Angels. The Dodgers need Anthony Rendon. Maybe he would start enjoying baseball more. We'll talk more about Elly De La Cruz and another really cool story from the Seattle Mariners after we talk some NHL with Andrew Weiss. This is the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida. Quick timeout, pay some bills. We'll be right back.
America's team plays here.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's number 10.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Charlie Morton, Max Fried, and Chris Sale lead the Braves' dominant pitching rotation.
That's 18 up, 18 down.
Sponsored by Panama City Toyota, LS Agency Insurance, Bestway Portable Buildings, PCB Hobby, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Got him swinging, strike 3.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Friday evening. As we head into tonight, a chance of thunderstorms and very light showers and a low of 77 with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest at 11 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, definite thunderstorms and light rain and a temp near 82. In the afternoon and evening, definite thunderstorms and moderate rain and a high around 82. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Your safety and proper care of your boat in an emergency is crucial. When it comes to on-water assistance, response time is everything. And since 1996, in the Bay or on the Gulf, it's Seato. Seato's Coast Guard licensed captains are on the scene in an average of 1 hour or less. Seato gets members home or back to boating faster. Become a member today at Seato.com or call 850-234-2323.
It's time to pick your path and go big and go bold from Bill Bird Kia. You can drive away in a brand new 2024 Telluride from Bill Bird Kia. The 2024 Telluride protects what matters, and it's built for the long haul. Its technology will connect with confidence, and its upscale, all-around rugged look will take you on to the next adventure. The road is yours. Bill Bird Kia, the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or BillBirdKia.com.
Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
It's dangerous.
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. You're in the doghouse. This is ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in beautiful Panama City, 101.9 in beautiful Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher. Now joining us is Andrew Weiss. We're in the thick of things in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs right now. And the first thing that we've got to talk about is Valeri Nichushkin being suspended 6 months at this point. That's like what, bare minimum, right? Or is it just going to be a 6-month suspension? Andrew, do you have any details on this? Do we know what's going on? I mean, this is the third time now, and I don't know if many details have been released.
Yeah, it's the third time that he's gone through the player assistance program, which automatically triggers a 6-month suspension at the minimum. And that's only to really reapply for reinstatement once that 6 months is up. So he could be out longer than 6 months. The crazy thing for Colorado is this is the guy in Valeri Nichushkin that's been really a big part of their playoff success the last few years. Like, he's a depth piece for a team that's very top-heavy with guys like Nathan McKinnon, with Mikko Rantanen, all these guys that are very, very good. They need that depth. And this is the second straight postseason where he's not available simply because of the fact that he's gotten in trouble. Last year, he got, I don't want to say suspended. It was more like an in-house suspension, but he was found with a very inebriated person in his room that was missing. He had to go through the player assistance program. There's a lot of question marks still surrounding that. And now this year, just into the player assistance program again for, who knows the reason. But a second straight year where Colorado really needs him and doesn't have him.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy hearing about something like this. You don't usually see this kind of thing in sports, or in the NHL. Actually, it's kind of a misnomer, a little bit of an anomaly. I guess the guy just likes substances and women a little too much, unfortunately. But hopefully he can get the help he needs. So I'm so sorry for Colorado because really thought they had a chance in that series, and then for that to break like an hour before that game started, like last week, that was just nuts.
Oh, the timing was just insane. Absolutely. The team had to have known a little bit before when it broke, but not significantly enough to where they're not thinking, oh, great, now we got to go play this game. We're missing a very important part of our middle six up front with the forwards. And now you got to figure out who's going to step up, who's going to make a play. And for that following game in Game 5, it was Casey Middlestat. But, this is a Colorado team that's playing a very, very deep Dallas team. They need every hand on deck, so they're going to be stretched pretty thin the next 2 games, having to win again, both of those, down 3-2 in the series.
Yeah, there is a lot of snow over there in Colorado. Do you think that Dallas can close out that series tonight?
I don't see why not. This is certainly a Colorado team that's proven to be a very tough out every year. So, you can't take that for granted. You can never assume you're going to beat a team with a guy like Nathan McKinnon, with Cale Makar, again, Mikko Rantanen. These are guys that can take over a game and win a game for you. So it's never over till it's over, but Dallas has gotten production from all places in their lineup. They came in with, you have guys like Jason Robertson's been good the last few years, but, Wyatt Johnson's been phenomenal this postseason for the Stars. Honestly, one of their best players. Heiskanen on the blue line has been so good. Logan Stankoven, the rookie, coming up and making some big plays. So they've got pieces all over the lineup in addition to the stars they already have there, no pun intended. So it's really a deep team, and I think we talked about before the playoffs, if it wasn't the Lightning, my Stanley Cup pick would be Dallas, and it's still the case. That's a team that's phenomenally deep from top to bottom with great goaltending and Jake Ottinger.
So tonight we got a Game 6 between the Bruins and the Florida Panthers. What do you expect out of tonight's game?
If you're a Bruins fan, you're hoping that they come out with some more sparks, just like they did this last game here in Game 5, and especially now on home ice, try to play in front of that crowd. The Bruins have had too many games over the last month plus, both in the postseason and in the end of the regular season, where you close your eyes, it's the middle of the second period, and when you open them back up, and the Bruins have 4 or 5 shots. So they've got to find ways to just get through this defensive structure of the Panthers, just like they found ways against other teams, just like Toronto. Not that Toronto is a great defensively structured team, but there's times where they can take over games, and the Bruins have that ability. They have guys like Pasternak. Marchand could be back tonight. Jeremy Swayman's been playing phenomenally for Boston, and that's a guy that can steal you a game. He's done that multiple times this postseason already. But you can't just throw it all on him and expect him to just win you the game. You've got to go out there and take something. And, Sergei Bobrovsky's been very good for the Panthers the last year plus, 2 years, to include last year's playoff run. But he's also a guy that's prone to mistakes. He's also prone to, slip sliding around his crease a little bit, which has drawn quite a few goal interference calls, but can also be, a backbreaker if he's not in the right position for a save. So, the Bruins just need to move him around his crease, try to get some shots, get some traffic, get some greasy goals, and there's a way that they can extend the series to 7. But as we saw with Carolina and New York last night, you can't take that for granted. No matter what lead you have, if you have one, you've got to protect it no matter what.
What would be the overwhelming key for each team in this game? What is the one thing that each team needs to key in on in order to come away with a victory tonight?
For the Bruins, it has to be the neutral zone. Florida is just such a deep team, well-structured. They cannot, for Boston to win this game, they cannot get stuck in their own end time and time again. They have to get through the neutral zone, get into the attacking end of the ice, get shots on the net of Sergei Bobrovsky. If you get stuck in that Florida Panthers neutral zone trap, they're just going to take it from you. They'll dump it back in. They'll keep you stuck in your own end of the ice the entire game. They'll forecheck the heck out of you, steal the puck once or twice, get some grade A looks, and put them in. You cannot allow that to happen if you're the Bruins. You have to find ways to get through that neutral zone, create opportunities with your own forecheck, and get the game in the Florida end of the ice, which is very hard to do against this Panthers team. For the Panthers, it's really the other way around. It's, limit Boston's chances. This is a Panthers team that has lost games this series, not because they've been flat out dominated, but just because the Bruins have capitalized on their chances more often than the Panthers have in Bruins wins. But when the Panthers win, it's because they're limiting those chances and they're really taking over the game by forcing Boston to try to take chances, to try to take that extra risky play, especially breaking out of their own zone. They keep them trapped in very well. The Panthers are very good on that forecheck. So really for Florida, it's, give Boston nothing. Continue to do that. Take away the few chances they get. Keep everything to the outside. And then from there, just, dominate that neutral zone like they have been.
There you go. The Rangers last night taking care of business against the Carolina Hurricanes. Caveman, why don't you tell us what you saw from the game and kind of develop the conversation discussion here with Andrew?
Well, it kind of went down the way I was thinking. Carolina went out, got that early lead. They jumped on New York Rangers pretty quick. And then, unfortunately, goaltending, I think, and, lack of, I don't want to say this not an effort. I mean, they put a lot of effort in it, but man, after, midway through that game, it just seemed like New York just turned it up like another notch on them. And then, of course, Shesterkin, I mean, he's just been like that saving grace for the Rangers. They can go down a couple, 3 goals in a game, but he'll hold them in the game long enough to from the battle back. And then how about Chris Kreider getting that hat trick in the third period? I mean, it's right up there with, Mark Messier making the guarantee when he got his hat trick, and I believe they also mentioned that Gretzky had a hat trick in a game for the Rangers as well. So in the playoffs, only 3 guys, pretty good company.
Yeah. So Andrew, I mean, what did you think of Chris Kreider in that third period? What were your thoughts watching him being able to pull that off?
I mean, all credit to Kreider. That's the guy who knows how to score greasy goals, whether it's the regular season or the playoffs. I mean, he is always top 3 in the league in deflected goals, tip goals, goals to the side of the net. I mean, Zach Hyman's been a big name this year for all the goals he gets on the back door and those little simple tap-ins from McDavid. But Kreider's been making a living over the last decade for New York. So he's a guy that, whether it's in front of the net or even just up on the rush, just deflecting a puck in off a quick pass, whatever it might be, that's a guy that knows how to score goals that win you playoff games. So, for him to take over the third period, no one's going to say, they expected it, right? No one expects a one-period hat trick to win your team the game. That's just outrageous performance. But if anyone was going to score goals in bunches in a playoff game, Chris Kreider makes a lot of sense as a guy that can simply create something out of nothing sometimes with the dirty goals he can pick up. But, to your point, Rick, Caveman Rick, the issue with the Hurricanes in that period really just comes back to what I think is a dominant theme with that franchise, and it's a lack of a killer instinct. They get comfortable in their own system, and to me, it's very Moneyball, right? It's a lot of analytics, it's a lot of structure, it's a lot of this and that, and sometimes, and that's good for 80 to 90% of hockey. That can take you far, but there's a reason that every year the analytics say the Carolina Hurricanes are one of the best, not the best teams based on paper in the league. And every year they fall short in the postseason. It's not because they're not a good team. I just don't think they have that killer instinct.
Not nasty enough.
You can't measure it on paper. You can't measure when it gets tough, when it gets closer, where you just gotta want it. Who's gonna drag you through that fire? Chris Kreider, you saw it. Every goal, he's going bananas. That's a man that those players on the ice for New York, they want to follow that guy in the battle. There's a handful of guys like that in Carolina, but really, is it enough? Is there enough of a fire, a fight, a want to get some of these things done, to get out of that structure and make a play? And to me, like I said, it's like Moneyball to me, where it's, the Oakland A's, I love Moneyball. It's a great movie. I love what, they do out there where they start using analytics for anyone else. Like, that's an important part of the game to help build your team. But it can't be everything. It can't. It can be a lot of it, but there's some eye tests, some human heart-to-heart that you got to have with some of these players to get to know them, to know, is this a guy that's going to want it when the going gets tough, when everything's on the line? Is he going to throw his face in front of a slap shot for the sake of his team? Is he going to, be able to be creative enough outside of a structured system to create a play that changes the course of a game, a series, a playoff? And I just don't think the Carolina Hurricanes had it. And Jake Gensel was a guy I thought they brought in. I thought that was a great move on their part to make a difference, because he's a guy who's like that. Like, he's not defensively, he's not going to eat a puck to the face, but he's a guy that in the system and out of it can make a difference. And he did, but that still wasn't enough to overcome the rest of that roster. They just don't have stars. And to me, it's very Moneyball, where the Oakland A's was a great movie, right? Moneyball is a great movie. Oakland A's are a great story, but they didn't win any World Series with it. And you can have a great story building a whole lot of stuff from maybe not the most high-end pieces. And that's an awesome thing. If they did win it, that'd be great. But they haven't in Oakland, and they're not going to in Carolina until they figure out who's going to drag them over. What star is going to be that guy? Because they just don't have that.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on the line with Andrew Weiss. Andrew, last night, Vancouver, 31.9 seconds left. JT Miller gets the goal for the Canucks to take that 3-2 series lead. Former Bolt right there. They're all over the playoffs right now as well. They should be. But what do you think about that series? Do you think Edmonton brings it back to 6? Do you think that this series could go the distance, or is this one Vancouver's?
So that's what we just talked about. Carolina is something that I want to mention with Vancouver twofold. One, Rick Tocchet is a heck of a coach. I love Rick Tocchet. Just a phenomenal head coach. Just drags the most out of you. He's got a great system structure that the Vancouver Canucks are running very well. But the other piece of it for Vancouver, the reason they've had a lot of success this year is that guys have stepped up in big ways to fill roles. And that's all over the lineup. And again, Carolina, there's a lot of talent there. They just aren't taking that extra step. JT Miller, guy you just mentioned, that's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. I mean, a year and a half ago, Canucks fans wanted him out of town. Mm-hmm. They're like, his contract's an albatross. It's going to weigh down this team. They're never going to make the playoffs with him. And now he's getting his name chanted by 19,000 Canucks fans in the stadium last night after the game. Like, it's amazing what can happen, and that's because that's a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve. He's going to live by the sword and die by the sword. When he dies by the sword, he's his own worst critic, and it's never a good thing when you're ruining your own confidence because you're your own worst critic. But it also drives you to want to be great. And JT Miller was a guy that was a throw-in piece in the Ryan McDonough trade for the Lightning, and now is a guy who's 100 points or point per game guy plus, over 100, 200 hits, whatever it is, like all across the lineup, makes plays, big power forward, great shot, great playmaker, good speed, power play, maybe a little penalty kill in there. I don't really know. I haven't watched enough Canucks games, but he's a guy that makes an impact in a lot of different ways. And that's what, he's blossomed into that. And Rick Tocchet's helped grow him to become that player. But with the Canucks, they're just so emotionally into this playoffs. Their fans are feeling it. Their team's feeling it. And with that structure, they can really go anywhere. And you're seeing that with Edmonton because the Oilers, it's Connor McDavid. He's the best player in the world, talent-wise, without a doubt. There's no question. I think Kucherov had the best season this year. I think he's the Hart Trophy winner. But McDavid's the best talented player in the world. His speed, his skill, phenomenal.
Yeah, JT.
He didn't have a shot in Game 1. He has one game with 4 assists against the Canucks in this playoff series. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, all the other games combined, he has 2 assists in those other 4 games. And that's a guy that's, almost 2 points a game last season. So they're shutting him down. They're not giving that team anything at 5-on-5. Power play has been the only thing really bailing out Edmonton for some of these games. But the other part of it, too, goaltending has been a huge difference. We talked about this guy last week, Seelogs. I'm butchering his name again, but he stepped up huge for Vancouver. He's pulling a Jordan Binnington where he's coming into the lineup out of nowhere and bailing out. They're not only bailing out their season, but leading them. Whereas Stuart Skinner, the Oilers were like, yeah, you know what, our goaltending, we'll figure it out. Skinner's the guy. He's been abysmal this series. Like, there's been a lot of stretches of periods where Edmonton's outplaying Vancouver, but they can't buy a save, and Vancouver's buying plenty. And it's been the downfall of the McDavid-era Oilers all the way back to Mike Smith in that. So, if it comes down to goaltending again in Game 6, Vancouver's somehow their random rookie has become more proven than Stuart Skinner.
That's awesome. Going back to JT Miller real quick, when you talked about him, I think his thing he had in Tampa Bay was just not enough room to grow. Him getting out of Tampa, I think, with all the stars there and being overshadowed, going to Vancouver, I think really helped him out, let him blossom into the player that he turned out to be. But moving on to what do you think is going to be, or what it so far has been the best series so far this second round for you?
Yeah, and I just want to touch on your JT Miller point real quick. You can see that's going to happen all over with, ice time. Guys go places, they get more opportunity, they have room to grow, and the Lightning, because of how good they are up top, like, look at JT Miller, look at Carter Verhaeghe, right? Look at Jonathan Marchessault, who won the Conn Smythe last year. Look at Carter Verhaeghe, who's the Panthers' playoff career leader in points. Look at, you just mentioned that, look at JT Miller right now. Like, there's a lot of Lightning fingerprints all over these playoffs still. So
don't forget about Barclay Goodrow over there in New York.
I can never forget about Barclay Goodrow. He was a huge part of that. I mean, Yanni Gordon, Seattle. Like, there's a lot of great ex-Lightning players out there doing good things in different teams, and some of them are still alive, of course, in the postseason.
Maroon's still out there, yeah, with Boston.
Yeah. But to your point, in terms of the best series, I'll say this.
Has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Jackson County in Florida, northeastern Holmes County in Florida, northeastern Washington County in Florida until 6:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 5:39 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 8 miles southwest of Graceville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado and quarter-size hail. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This tornadic thunderstorm will remain over mainly rural areas of northwestern Jackson, northeastern Holmes, and northeastern Washington counties, including the following locations: Holland Crossroads, Richter Crossroads, Jacob City, Holmes County Airport, Cottondale Airport, Cottondale, Jacobs, Tyndale Crossing, Campbellton, and Bahama. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Torrential rainfall is occurring with this storm and may lead to flash flooding. Do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 6:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following counties: in Florida, Holmes, and Washington.
But I've been enjoying watching Vancouver and Edmonton. It helps that the games are on a little bit later. So I watch a little baseball, then a little bit of hockey, then a little bit of basketball, and try to keep them all rolling. But Andrew, thank you so much for giving us some of your time, my friend, and we look forward to chatting with you again as we move forward in these Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys. And Kidman Rick, you'll be happy to know Brad Marchand taking warm-ups right now.
Right on, man. I had a quick question for you right now. Who do you got winning the Conn Smythe so far?
The Conn Smythe? Oh, boy.
I know it's a little early, but, who you got for a front runner?
I mean, honestly, you've got a lot of really deep teams, so that makes it really tough to pick from some of these guys of who's really making a difference. But you know what? Who I'd really like to see pick it up if they end up winning it all is Vincent Trocheck in New York. Has been such a huge part of what they do. That's a glue guy. We talked about him last week. That's a glue guy. He's not a guy that you look at like, oh, wow, the stars of New York are playing. Here's Vincent Trocheck. But that's the guy that's making a huge difference to that Rangers team. I'd love to see him win it. I could see Swayman for Boston. That'd be my front runner for Boston.
I got Shesterkin right now. The Rangers go deep. I got Shesterkin at the moment. Yeah, I think he's what's saving their bacon. Without him, I think Carolina would actually be ahead in this series. They're probably going 7 games, but I think Carolina would be the team.
Yeah, I would say Shesterkin's probably going to be the guy that wins it for the Rangers if they do. But I love that story of Vincent Trocheck, especially considering that he's beaten his previous team in the Carolina Hurricanes, and if the Panthers end up taking down the Bruins, then he'll be playing against his previous team in the Panthers. But look out for Wyatt Johnston out in Dallas too. If that team ends up winning it, that's a deep team with no one major guy. I think that's the guy who could end up picking it up.
Right on.
Awesome, my man. Again, thank you so much, and we look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care, Andrew.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Happy
Yes,
Friday.
absolutely. We appreciate you. Andrew does such a great job keeping us up to date on what's going on in the NHL. And we are going to talk a little bit more Major League Baseball, specifically about a big bet where someone ended up having to cash out. 850-215-6290. We will take a phone call for the last segment of the week as well. We'll be right back. Y'all keep it locked in here.
ESPN Northwest Florida is celebrating our 7-year anniversary on June 26th.
Gotta be a curtain call right here.
You made us the #1 destination on the Panhandle for live and local sports talk, high school, college football, the NFL, and the Atlanta Braves.
Way on back it goes. That's torched.
And to thank you for helping us reach this milestone, we're giving away more tickets to the Atlanta Braves this season than ever before. Keep listening for details from ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Friday evening. As we head into tonight, a chance of thunderstorms and very light showers and a low of 77 with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest at 11 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, definite thunderstorms and light rain and a temp near 82. In the afternoon and evening, definite thunderstorms and moderate rain and a high around 82. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
From the pros to the future pros, we're your home team station for home team sports. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN North Florida. I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher. 850-215-6290. You guys can call or text us here. Final segment of the week. Coach James Hale Show will be live next Monday at 7 a.m. And the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley will be back at 11 a.m. The Afternoon Underdogs back at 4. Do want to remind you guys that Monday, I know we've got the 7-year send-off going, but we're also going to be sending you to Atlanta monthly. So we're going to have a lot going on. The 7-year send-off running from June 3rd to June 14th. But Monday, what time? Do we have a time, or are we just going to tell them to keep on listening throughout the weekend?
We have not come up with the time, but
all right,
we just got flooded with all these Braves tickets, and we got to give them out.
So Memorial Day Monday, the 27th.
Right, 4-pack. Every show has got a 4-pack.
Yeah.
Of tickets.
You need to get like a stack of those tickets, like a movie Airheads, where Brendan Fraser's playing the role of the rock guys, taking up the radio studio, and they're like flipping through the tickets, like, we got tickets to give away in here. Going through the stack of tickets.
These are all digital.
Yeah.
So
we'll just get a deck of cards and we'll pretend, man.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, so this coming Monday, we're going to be having your opportunity to go to Atlanta. We've got 4 family 4-packs to give away, and you're going to be going Monday, May 27th. So this is exciting stuff. Who are they even playing next Monday? I don't even know. I don't have to see. Yeah, you do that. Let's find out who they're playing. I'm gonna read off these other golfers and their arrest. And since we haven't been able to give away all of the trivia, or haven't had 5 winners for trivia. What
Nationals coming to town against the Braves on the 27th on Monday.
Good opportunity to go see a Braves win. So we'll talk about these 5 golfers real quick, or 4 golfers, and then we'll wrap it up with Wayne Shelton, the better. $100 parlay. How much did he end up making? Robert Allenby, he's an Australian golfer. He was arrested outside a casino in Rock Island, Illinois, hours after he missed the cut. He was apprehended outside of Jumer's Casino and charged with disorderly conduct and criminal trespass. Another Australian, Stephen Bowditch, was arrested for extreme DUI. I've never heard it called extreme DUI, but when you see his BAC, you will understand why it was extreme. This was following the first round of a 2017 tournament in Scottsdale, so not that big of a surprise. I mean, you shouldn't be drinking and driving.
What was the BAC?
Guess.
I know somebody here, unfortunately, that got in trouble for this, and it was pretty ridiculous.
When you say here, do you say Panama City?
I'm talking Panama City. I'm talking here, okay? It was 0.23. So that's like 3 times over the limit
almost
of 0.08. You know, that's pretty extreme.
So take a guess here. Just take a guess.
So I'm going to say,
about an Aussie?
Like, I hear you, but still, your body. I used to do EMS. Your body can only hold so much, man. So I'm going to say like 0.32.
0.32. Okay.
Higher.
What? Give me a number.
What?
Boker's like 0.6, baby.
Yeah. I'm going to go 3.4. All
right, both you guys a little high there. It's 0.20.
Oh, really? 0.20?
Yeah, but a 911 report about a truck swerving all over the road. Officers then got him for the extreme DUI, and he was released from jail, went and played, shot 3 over 74 in the second round of that Waste Management Open. And then we already talked about Matt Every, Joe Ogilvy. We'll go with Ogilvy. I think that's how it is. He was charged with driving while impaired at a traffic stop on the day before the Wachovia tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina back in 2006. He was stopped for speeding. Then the officer smelled alcohol. He failed a field sobriety test and ended up tying for 26th that week. So, I mean, he made a little bit of money. He was
enough to pay for his bills.
He was able to pay for the citations that go along with
court costs.
Yeah, man. Those rack up for sure. Jack Machine Gun McGurn was one of Chicago mobster Al Capone's henchmen. He was also a pretty good golfer. So he played in. You know about this?
Oh no, just finish your story. I got a quick Al Capone thing.
All right, so he played in the Open under an assumed name because he knew that the police were kind of coming after him. He shot an 83 in the first round. So the police started, kind of catching on to the fact that he was using fake names. According to golfheritage.org, Chicago had just passed a law to treat individuals associated with crime as varmints.
Varmints.
Half of my paper over here is not printed, so I'm just trying to remember what I read earlier. It's like this cutoff in between sentences. So at the time McGurn was running a bookmaking operation. So they treated him like a varmint, and he was 1 under when they approached him on the 7th hole. Wow. But he asked them, could he finish out the round, and they agreed. Nice. They let him ended up playing the round, but it had to rattle him some because he finished with an 86, and then off to jail he went. So
6.
Al Capone, there's a family story that I have.
Family story of Al Capone. Yeah. Your family story.
My great grandmother apparently went out on a couple dates with Al Capone, and she didn't like him, didn't really want to go out with him, but basically out of little fear, a little whatever, kind of just went out, and then I don't know, she just ignored him. Maybe she was just being a pain in the rear, or whatever. So maybe he wouldn't pursue a relationship with her, perhaps, or whatever.
Yeah.
And she kind of got out of that. But yeah, so apparently I heard a story that she dated Al Capone.
Well, it's good that she lived to tell that story, right?
No doubt, right? Pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, that is wild. And so is this next story. Wayne Shelton, he placed a $100 parlay back in May of 2023. He had the Rangers to win the World Series, Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, and the Oklahoma City Thunder to win the championship, all in futures. Now, if this were to hit, if OKC, that's the last leg that he needed, it would have went for $1.7 million. $100 turned into 1.7 milli, but he's cashed out on Tuesday. He posted a video to his Instagram showing him cash out his bet on DraftKings, $80,960.17. So not too bad of a turnout there. He said, this is a quote from me. He said, "I said last night, if we win this game and they offer at least 80,000, he's walking away." Well, they were offering 80,000 and he didn't think that he could take any more. So the night before, when they had lost, or not the night before, but the game before, I think when they lost, what was it? I think game one, maybe. Yeah. It dropped down to like 30,000. He was teetering around 65, 70,000. But then when they kind of fought back into the series, you know, it got back to that 80,000. He was like, all right, yeah, you got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him. And it was time for him to walk away. And I think that he made a smart play. Now, you could see OKC possibly push this to the seventh game and maybe even win this series. But I just, look, they're the number one seed in the Western Conference. That's cool, but they're still very young. You got to give SGA a little bit more time here. Get Chet Holmgren with another healthy season, and then we can talk. I just don't think that is their time. It's like Tennessee Titans when they were the number one seed a few years ago, and what was everyone talking about? Obviously, we're talking different sports here, but this was the worst one seed that they've ever seen come out of the East, or out of the AFC at that point in time.
And how often in basketball do we see, like, where you kind of have to take steps? You don't see a team just kind of come out of nowhere and go win a championship. You kind of have to go in, maybe win a first round series, and then the next season maybe you win the second round, and so on and so forth until you get up there. So it take a couple, 3 seasons at least. So they haven't, quote, paid their dues yet. I can see them not winning it this season. And dude, Wayne Shelton, big ups, man. I think he made a smart move. 80 grand off $100. Can't complain there.
Not at all.
I don't see you like cashing out for the 1.7 mil, so you might as well just done it then. And yeah, good ups to you, man.
Yes.
Hope you spend the money well.
Paul Skeens, as we talked about a little bit earlier, struck out 11 over 6 no-hit innings. So 6 no-hit innings for Paul Skeens before the Pirates pulled him. He's the top pitching prospect, obviously striking out the first 7 batters he faced, which is the longest streak to start a game in Pittsburgh Pirates franchise history, according to the Elias Sports Bureau.
Have you heard what Pat McAfee says his name should be, or nickname should be?
What's that?
Okay, so he's got heat, right? He can throw. So call him, and apparently, I haven't noticed this, whatever. He says he's got like a big rear end. So we call him the Gas with 2 S's.
Okay.
Station.
All right, Paul, the gas station, or just call him the gas station.
Yeah, the gas station.
I guess you got to put a little more emphasis on the 2 S's there.
Yeah, that's what he said. Because the A, yes.
Yeah. We're out, though, man. Y'all have a great weekend. Your Atlanta Braves are coming up next. Don't forget about the Coach James House Show back Monday at 7 a.m., the Inside Drive at 11 a.m., and the Afternoon Underdogs back at 4. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Go get you some culture in downtown Panama City. And also, remember, Jesus loves you, so do I.
America's team plays here.
And a rocket to right field. This thing is into orbit.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Acuna, Ozzie, and Austin Riley lead the Braves' high-powered offense.
Swung on, belted, deep right field.